number 31. In number 31 here, you have a sine squared plus 3 sine of theta equals 0. So then here now, we have what you have to do by factoring. We have to take sine of theta as a common factor. So we have sine of theta plus 3 equals 0. So that's mean this part, it could be 0. And this part, the second part, it could be 0. That's mean it's negative 3. Now, when the sine of theta is 0, if you remember the unit circle.
When it is 0?
0 and 180. So when theta is 0 and 180, its sine is 0. Now, when the sine of theta is negative 3,
Sine of theta is negative 3.
yes,
But that isn't possible.
exactly. Thank you. Because the domain of sine is from negative 1 to 1. But it's impossible to find that the sine is greater than 1 or less than negative 1. So for this one here, there is no solution. So only the values or the angles that satisfy this equation when theta is 0 and 180. Or in radian, 0 and pi. Is it clear?
Okay, teacher. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's solve number 32. In number 32 here, sine of theta equals negative sine of theta cosine theta.
I think we're going to make it equal 0.
I'm sorry. So when sine of theta is equal negative sine theta cosine theta, so first step, let's move negative sine cosine to this side here. So it will be sine of theta plus sine of theta cosine theta equals 0. Then
And
what is
teacher, I can make it in the other side, right? I can make it negative sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then what do you have to do next?
Sine theta should be taken out as a common factor. Then we use the zero product property and find out.
So sine of theta as a common factor. So it will be 1 plus cosine of theta equals 0. Then this could be 0 and this part it could be 0. So when sine of theta is 0, I need to find the angles, and when 1 plus cosine of theta is 0, I need to find the angles. So here theta will be the sine inverse of 0, and theta here would be the cosine inverse of negative 1. Now what is the angles that its sine is 0?
It's 0 or pi.
0 and pi, or 0 and 180. Bravo. And for the angles that its cosine is negative 1.
It's also going to be pi.
Yeah, which is 180. Yeah. So now here the angles are 0 and 180 only. This is in degree. In radian, they are 0 and pi. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher, but can you just wait a second? I want to write the answer. Okay, teacher, I'm done. Thank you.
Now number 33. In number 33 here, we have 2 sine squared of theta minus 3 sine of theta equals 2. Here now, we cannot take sine as a common factor. We need to factorize it. It's like 2x squared minus 3x equals 2. It's like this. But instead of x, we wrote sine. So now here, it comes like quadratic equation, and we need to factorize it. So let's say that, let's open 2 brackets here, 2 sine and sine. Before that, sorry, let's rewrite it as a quadratic equation as 2 sine squared of theta minus 3 sine of theta minus 2 equals 0. I rewrite it now as a quadratic equation. Then let's open now 2 brackets here. 2 sine of theta, sine of theta. Now negative 2 and the answer between them is negative. So let's say that it's negative 2, negative 1. So negative 2 sine theta minus 1. Let's make this plus negative 2 sine.
Teacher, I can't say minus 3 minus 2, right? Because the 3 is with the sign.
It's like sine minus 4, which is minus 3 sine. This is here how to find its factor, or we can factorize it as this way. 2 sine theta plus 1 times sine theta minus 2.
Teacher, wait, can you repeat this one, how you did it?
Shall I repeat for you the way that you take it in grade 8? This way that you not take it. This is I took it when I was at school.
Okay, teacher, I think I forgot it. I don't know.
I will repeat for you now here how to factorize this 2x squared minus 3x equal to. Okay, here when you have this one here, that's in lesson in grade 8, that we have ax squared minus bx or plus bx plus c equals 0. For this case here, you have to multiply c times a. Yeah, I mean here that you have to say that my formula or my quadratic equation is 2x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Then you have to multiply c times a. Negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Then here you have to write all the factors of negative 4. That's if you multiply them, you get negative 4, and if you add them, you get negative 3. What are these factors? It could be negative
4 and 1
and positive 4, and it could be 4, negative 4 and positive 1. But these are the factors. Now, which one? It will be negative 4 and positive 1. So here you have negative 4 and positive 1. So this negative 4 and positive 1, you have to rewrite negative 3x now with negative 4x plus 1. We said that the factors are negative 4 and plus 1. So we rewrite negative 3x as negative 4x plus 1x. The factors that I wrote it before. Then
Now I remember
minus
it. Yes, teacher. Yeah.
then minus 2. Then after that,
And I think take the greatest common factor, right?
put these two here between two brackets. Then 2x squared minus 4x. Let's take x as the 2x as a common factor. If you take it as a common factor, what did we have? We have x minus 2 plus here you have x minus 2. Then take x minus 2 as a common factor. We have 2x plus 1. This is here how to solve this type of quadratic equations where we call them a x squared plus bx plus c. First, you have to multiply a times c. Find the factors that if you multiply them, you get ac. If you add them, you get b. Then distribute or rewrite b as the new factors. Then put them between two brackets. Then find the common factor 2 times in order to solve it. This is the way that we take it in grade 8. When I was at school, they told us try by guessing. And put number 2 here, 2 sign, and sign in the other second side, and negative 2. Its factors is positive 1 and negative 2. Try to change them in order to, when you add the answer, you get negative 3. Yeah, I guess numbers. Or by calculator, you can solve it, by the way.
Yeah, I think I saw this way before, is that if you multiply the second term of the first parenthesis and the second term of the second parenthesis, you will get C, the constant. And if you multiply the first two terms of each parenthesis, you get ax squared. Like this is the way where they guess it.
Yeah, that's why what we learned before and when at school. Hey, 2 sine times sine, it is 2 sine squared. And if you add, if you multiply 1 times sine, you get sine. And 2 sine times minus times negative 2, you get negative 4 sine. When you add them, you get negative 3 sine.
So teacher, so we can make it as 2 times negative 2 and then solve it.
2.
Negative 2 times 2 of the sine squared. And then it will be equal negative 4.
Well,
yeah, as we did, yeah. Yeah, teacher, it is as you did, like the one that is in the second one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then here, after we solve it now, we have 2 sine of theta plus 1. It could be 0, or sine of theta minus 2. It could be 0. So now let's continue here. So 2 sine of theta plus 1 is 0. That's mean 2 sine of theta is negative 1. That's mean sine of theta is negative half. That's mean theta is sine inverse of negative half. Now let's remember, how did you find the angle that its sine is negative half? What you have to do, remember the unit circle.
It's in the third and the fourth quadrant.
Bravo. First here, you have to remember that, but before it's clear. Here, let's draw now our unit circle. Then, the sine of theta is half. That means this theta is 30. But here I want negative half. So as we know, in quadrant 3 and in quadrant 4, the sign is negative. So that's mean I have my angles are here and here. So here, this is the side. I need now to rotate starting from the x-axis with 30 degrees. So let's have now here. This time, I want to rotate now 30 degrees in order to find the first angle. So the first angle, if I want to start to measure it from the initial side, it will be 180 plus 30, which is 210. And then the second one, I am in quadrant 4. So I need now to rotate starting from the near x-axis 30 degrees in quadrant 4. So now let's find its measure starting from the initial side, which will be 360 minus 30, or you can say 270 plus 60. So you get 330.
So teacher, we always, when we write like the 30 or 45, we always start from the initial to the one that is our quadrant, right?
You want
Like
to
for
measure
example,
the
our
angle, yes.
quadrant is the third one. Yeah, like for example, we have our quadrant, the third one, and we have the angle is 30. So we will go from the initial to it, right?
Yes, if you want to measure, you have to go from the initial side to reach this line here.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Now then, we need to find, or we need to rewrite 210 in radian. So it's divided by 180. We get it as 7 pi over 6. And 11 pi over 6. This is the first two angles. Now the second part here, we have sine of theta equals to which angle that's its sine is 2.
This is no solution.
There's no solution because it's from 0, I mean -1 to...
So there's no solution here because the domain is from -1 to 1. So the only two angles that will be the solution of this equation, they are 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher, it's clear.
No. Now, for the questions in the book, sometimes you find the y-intercept. Y-intercept is mean find when y or x-intercept, sorry. That's mean we have to find when x is 0. When y is 0, that's mean you have to solve the equation. And if you find the complete solution, it means you didn't or your domain is not from 0 to 2 pi. Your domain will be 0 up to 2 pi n. It could be first circle, second, and third, and so on. But I will not ask about you. But if you saw these words, you don't know what's the meaning of complete solution. That means your domain is not from 0 to 2 pi. Your domain is open from 0 to infinity.
So we need to see like pi multiplied by all the multiples of n, and then something like that. Like we need to multiply it by n.
Yes, exactly. If I tell you now here this question, like given that sine, let's write it in my hand. Given that sine of theta is 0.48, okay, and this theta is in second quadrant. Find cosine and tan. This one here. How do you solve it?
We need to
Teacher,
find
shall we solve it?
theta.
Like first way, we should like have the sign -1 times 0.48. Then
Oh,
we
teacher,
find
can we
the
use the Pythagorean identity?
Yes, this is the
Yeah.
first step here to use the Pythagorean identity. That sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. So 0.48 squared minus 1. Just a minute, please.
Teacher, I got cosine as 0.76.
So here. So 1 minus 0.48 squared is cosine squared of theta. So now, if you subtract 0.48 squared from 1, you get, sorry, you get 0.769. This one is cosine squared. What do you need now? You need cosine. So you have to take the square root of the
root.
which is cosine.
Teacher, you said it's in the second quadrant, right?
Yes.
So
So
only take the positive value.
for the cosine, not for the sine. Let's wait. After we find that the cosine is 0.87 and theta is in the second quadrant, so that means cosine will be negative 0.87.
Yeah.
So the cosine is negative 0.87 and the sine we find it as 0.48. Now let's find the tan. Which formula we have to use to find the tan?
Cosine theta.
Sine.
Sine over cosine. Bravo. Which is 0.48 over negative 0.87
About negative 0.55.
Yes. This will be here the tan.
Teacher,
Yes.
but there's something I don't understand. Like, why did we use sine squared plus cosine? I know to find the cosine, but can we use like another way, like or only this one?
Only this one.
Okay. Yeah, okay,
You
thank you,
have sine
teacher.
and you need to find its cosine. The only way you have that's
So-
use the Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Yeah. Fine. Now, here. Now, I don't want the complete solution. I want you now to find the solution if the domain is from 0 to 2 pi. This is the domain you have. And here you have sine squared of theta plus 2 sine of theta plus 1 equals 0. I need now from you to solve it and send me the answer on chat.
Teacher, what do you mean that we don't want the complete solution?
I told you the complete solution, it's open interval. I want just the domain from 0 to 2 pi, as we take before.
Yeah, as we were solving. Okay.
Yes, as we talked before. See. Okay, thank you, Sasa and Hanin. Let's solve it now.
Teacher, I sent it mine.
Okay, thank you, Maya and Rose. Let's now solve it here. Here now, we have, as we said, we have to factorize it as sine of theta minus 1 times sine of theta minus 1. Thank you, Ragad and Habiba.
But why minus?
Eh?
I mean, why is it
Wait,
to minus?
I didn't focus. Okay, so plus 1 in order to get it as 2 sine theta. So that's mean they are the same. So I will take one of them. Sine of theta is negative 1. Now, when the sine is negative 1, at angle,
270.
so sine of theta is negative 1. So that's mean at angle 270 or at 3 pi over 2.
Teacher, if we want to find another angle, what we should do?
There's no another angle here because it's on the axis.
We can't find two. Okay.
Here.
Teacher, is that
Yeah, like
negative
after
or
we have 0 or 1, it will be in the axis.
On the axis, yes.
I'm sorry, teacher, I put the negative sign by mistake.
No, no problem.
Me too.
No, Rose, you send it as 1270. It's correct.
Wait, what? Oh, okay, okay, teacher.
Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
I hope that I will start my new lesson 3 today, but there's no problem. I will keep it for the next week. Inshallah, next week we are going to start. It's a very, inshallah, it will be a new, easy lesson. You go back to the hypotenuse, right triangle, and so on, how you find the sine and cosine from them. I think that's lesson 1 and lesson 2 is the hardest lessons in this chapter.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, the other
that,
lessons like cosine, law of cosine and law of sine, that we talked it before, I think. But lesson 6 and 7, there's a new idea how to find the angles or the sines with the formulas, if you know the main angles. And again, it's a new, okay, but it's very easier one. But that's only the two hardest lessons, lesson 1 and 2. So
okay,
tomorrow,
teacher.
inshallah, our period it will be physics. Okay, it's from 8:30. Please don't be late. As you know, tomorrow there's no math. No math lesson.